Tonga.
You're listening to PMN Tonga with John Pulu.
Welcome to my island, PMN Tonga. Ho e ki pamoe kakai whanua, mahalo mo e tau mau e whiawhini. Whamalo rahi atu mo ke poupoua mai e tau polokarama, me henga he tapa kehe o e whanua. And of course, those who are tuning in from overseas, you are listening to PMN Tonga. Ko e whangamaare ko ni, we're going to come back to our local news. And there's the news of the recent spike in fuel and transport prices. It's all going up at the moment, and significant costs to families who are really are finding things tough at the moment. The government's fuel tax subsidy ended at the weekend, along with half-price public transport for adults aged between 25 and 65. It will mean motorists pay about 29 cents per litre more at the pump. But that means that will be going to asking for help from food banks and other services. And one of them who have been doing amazing work, especially during the COVID times, and they're still going with the work that they do, is Siaola. And joining us right now is Kathleen Tuai Tau for All. Kathleen, Maloilele, great to have you on our Polokalama once again.
Great to be back, JP.
Maloisi ngau e lahi me hena, but let's start with what are you hearing on the ground with the work that you do? Taimi whoko e ni o kutoi alhake ki o lunga ai mahu inga ngahi koloa, tau te whito e ni ki taimi koe ni ngahi whi mau e mea lele mo e mea pehe, hange koe nau lawe ki ai. The petrol prices are back up again, so that means money will go towards that, but something else will miss out. What are you hearing, and what are you hearing from some of the people that Siaola is helping?
Malo pito JP and kolpeke hufang ngai tara whakatapoto peko o se nā whaki. What we're seeing right now, JP, is that we are definitely in a technical recession in terms of how our community, our Tonga and our Pacific community are really struggling in terms of the cost of living. With inflation and now with the petrol prices, and we're seeing more and more people going into unemployment, there needs to be, I believe, JP, that we work together as a Tongan community, as a Pacifica community, with our leaders, our church leaders, our community leaders and government to do what we can to support our families during this difficult time. We know it's not going to be here for long, and we know that during recessions, it's a tough time and it's temporary. But I do believe that we need to have the discussions around what can we do better. I remember during the lockdowns and COVID, we worked together as a community to help our families financially. And I think that there's things that we can do practically as a family, as churches, as community, to support our families to get through these tough times.
Morning, Pito, and our hearts and our prayers go out to these families that are going through these tough times. Ko whanongo whoke ngahi o ngongo he ngahi wike ko mariwa tu. Young students are working long hours. You know, they're full-time students, but they're working like full-time employee hours. Tell me about, is that something that you're seeing or hearing in our community? You know, the pressure is also on, each member of the family to do more now. He ko toi whainga taange ngahi, to tonge ngahi whia mau whakaaho. You know, the day-to-day bread and butter needs, and now looking at the long term as well.
Yeah. You know, I mean, JP, we don't want at the end of the day, we don't want our children working when they should be studying. I mean, that's the end goal. But what we're seeing is that we're not making ends meet at home. I think about you probably see it yourself with, you can go with $100 today and buy maybe 10 or 13 items, when $100 not too long ago could, you could buy a decent shopping for the family. What I'm also seeing too is that, we have family obligations, we have church obligations, and could there be space there for us to have a rethink about what do we prioritize today? How do we manage our finances today? I know there will be families who are struggling to pay rent and to pay mortgage. I know there are services like Ciala that can help with our Ciala Grey program, where we can help to consolidate some of those debts into the bank and help to relook at the mortgages that you have and work with the bank to ensure that you don't lose your home. And also there's plenty of services that are available right now that can help our families, where we can try our best to help them get through the next few months, or 12 to 24 months, but also at the same time, how can we ensure that our children are getting the rest, but also studying and building their future. But it's not easy to hear when it's happening in our community. Yeah.
Monia pito whakaofa pito pea kua I longa pito, especially in families where the young ones are, I guess doing more than they should. He kua, like you said, it'll disrupt their learning, which we want them to have the best chance at learning in the classroom. Ka koe tu e taimini to e foki pa mo tokoni ai pure anga ki he ngahi food banks. So it's helping, especially the work that you're doing. What's your advice ki he kainga pe koe ni koe nuk nau I ha tuunga whaingata a koutu pe wai ni ihi te nau ki ongo I milifia pe ma I he kore toko ni, but I think koe taimi kone fuwhia mau pe he, what's your advice for them ke nau lava atu ki he ngai se vesi koe ni ai siaola?
JP. Since the lockdowns, the country or New Zealand, we've never really had any Pacifica food hubs. I remember that Affirming Works had one that was ongoing. Since then, South Seas, the Whono Siaola has set up food hubs for our community. And the way that we've set it up is basically to ensure that our families feel safe, that they can come to us and that the people on the other side understand them. And for many of us with our food hubs, because they don't want to come and line up for the food, we drop it off to the homes. And that's our way of trying to be culturally sensitive, but also this is not a time for us to be embarrassed. This is a time for us to work together as a community to support one another. The places that we'll be feeling it as a family will be with the food at home, we'll be paying our mortgage and our rent, we'll be feeling it in the petrol at the pump. We're also with employment, people will be going into redundancy and has already begun going into redundancy because of just jobs closing down, companies, and or just there's excess in terms of employment. So groups like Ciala and I have to really recommend our other services such as the Whono, the South Seas, Affirming Works, Wakatautoa. We are all here to help one another and to help you get through these tough times. So please reach out. We're here for you.
Pea koe whika telefoni koe ni ai siaola, vahe whanua tonga Methodist Mission, koe noa walu noa, fitu whaua, ono ni maua, 0800 742 652. Kathleen, on behalf of our program, whakamalo lahi atu, every time we always ask for a chance to speak with you. You're always very kind, because I know that you're super busy, but we really appreciate your time, but also your heart and service to our kāinga that are in need. So bless you, sis. Malo pite kaumahe polokalama.
Malo.
Ho e ki pia moe kakai whanua, na mo toki mea mai a ki a Kathleen tuai tau fo o. Te tau ki lepa si